Hey, Future Rai here. Two things before the video starts. Number one, I do apologize for how late this video is coming out. I did get hit with a really bad case of vertigo last night and just general sickness feeling, and it's kind of transitioned into this morning. So I'm literally putting everything together here. Just rolled out of bed. I'm probably going to go back after I upload this. And B, again, I do apologize, but the ban list came out on Tuesday, and there was a tournament on Monday. I think the Meta Freakly Monday, if I'm not mistaken, as well as the Battle Phase Monday. So I do apologize about that as well. Whoops, I completely forgot that and overlooked that. So there will be a Thunder Dragon list on here that is pre-ban list, and I do apologize about that. But rather than getting the whole team back together, and just in general, since I don't feel too good right now, we're not going to re-record that. We're just going to keep that part in, and I'm just going to let you guys just warn you right now that that's in there. Either way, the power ranking is fairly accurate. Just be aware that there were a few tournaments on Monday that need to be taken out. Thank you guys. Enjoy the video. I'll hopefully see you on Wednesday if I've recovered. If not, I'll definitely see you by the weekend. Peace out. YouTube, it is me, DLE Rye. Joined with me is DLE PDS. What's up, PDS?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, baby, we've got the first power rankings of the new ban list. They're gonna be chaotic, boys. That's just how it is. Whenever a new ban list comes out, the first one or two power rankings is always janky because everyone's everyone's playing whatever they want, right? For the most part.
Yeah, for real. Like
Oh, good.
they come in hordes with just, everything. Dark magicians, they start busting everything out, seeing what works. Blue eyes, Blue eyes
No,
is
Blue
always
Eyes is always one of the
yeah.
ones being played. But yeah, you can kind of see just a little rough idea of what's going on. You can see first and foremost, the points are very small compared to each other. There's no one deck that's like 40 points above anybody. It's all like 5 points, 2 points, 3 points ahead of everyone. So let's just kind of get into it. We'll talk about it. These are the tournaments that were hosted this week for Power Rankings. Power Rankings is the top 8 deck lists of side deck format. Swissna top 32 decks. All the battle phases, the GG Tours, Meta Weekly, Meta Freaklies, Altaria, Union, and Ruby League. I think this is everything. It's just Friday's not on here because it was with Tuesday. They got
Yeah.
swapped or something. But that's about it. Everything else, everyone held a tournament this week. First decks first. Come on. D Guy. Oh, Lord. 25 points. Is Destiny Hero the best deck of the format, PDS?
I think every other deck sucks too, though.
Yeah, true. True. I don't know. D Hero, they had, I think it was really just one tournament where there was like 3 out of the top 4 was all like D Hero. And I think it might have even been like the first tournament. So they were able to snatch a lot of points really early. But D Hero is still a good deck, right?
Yeah, it is. Sometimes though, like especially, when I'm playing this deck, it just feels like I'm auto dueling, like it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy how like you could say this is the best deck of the week, which is kind of insane, but
Searchable MST is one of the most crazy concepts. Like, imagine any Duel Links or any Yu-Gi-Oh game period where you can search your like best back row removal. You know what I mean? Like your most meta
yeah.
defining back row removal. I think is
And then
absolutely nuts.
yeah, and it's also not even it's also sort of versatile just because you can use it with your clock
Yeah.
prison, it's just crazy. Like it's a really it's an interesting skill that kind of just came out of nowhere, like it was kind of like,
Oh god.
all right, here's his Aster Phoenix skill. All right, we're out. No reason, just here you go.
Well,
Like I don't think
they
they've done it
released the
yet.
new rare, man. Don't you know? Rares in main boxes. That's the way to go. You got Rhino Bus or Exabeetle, and now you have the D Hero Clock Tower.
True.
That's
True.
that's the meta now. D Hero, it won first place, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they're because I'm gonna say they're false kings. I don't think they're the best deck, but they definitely had they just were able to farm the most points as the week went by.
Yeah.
Water XC, second place, baby. Hey, when there's a new ban list, you know Water's around the corner. You know they're coming.
Yes, water is here. And they have that little, especially versus the hero deck. They hit you with that Abyss Dweller, Infantry Pop, the Clock Tower,
Yeah.
it doesn't flow or anything. Pretty annoying.
And the floodgates, dude. Look at how
Yeah.
look at all those 3 floodgates, 2 drownings in the side deck. You know, Water XCs. I think as the meta becomes less and less, or I guess less powerful in general, decks like Water XCs that are just kind of there, right? They just kind of exist in top deck strong. Like every top deck they have is either a strong monster or back row removal or like back row popping. So
Yeah, like I mean, for this deck, even across multiple ban lists, multiple formats, the strategy is the same. Summon
yeah,
Diva, set TTH. That's how you're winning. It doesn't even matter what you're playing up against. Harpies, heroes, Automots. They don't care what they're facing. It's the same thing all the time. So yeah, second place, no surprise, especially after a new ban list.
yeah. I'm gonna say this one and Destiny Hero are probably gonna drop down the ranks. They might even drop to like fourth or fifth
Well,
next week.
I don't know. We'll see. I think they might. For me, I think they might stick around for a little bit.
Okay,
But
okay.
as we get a new box, I
Yeah,
think,
that's true.
yeah,
New
because it's gonna be,
box.
it's gonna be like the same thing. But we'll see. We'll see.
Third place, Melodious. Not by much, by 2 points. Melodious, fun fact, was the most played and most topped in GG Tour, the $500 tournament we had, but ultimately failed to make finals because it ended up being Cyber Dragon and Magnets. What on earth is going on? This deck, I feel like a lot of people consider it to be the best deck. Uh,
Yeah,
is it just like Score and Bloom Diva just happen to be a little bit stronger than everything else, or why do
I
people think
think
that?
score is really unfair, right?
Yeah,
Bloom Diva is really unfair. But I mean, for me, when I watch this deck, sometimes it's popping off like crazy. Other times, you're literally like sitting on a soprano and then like you're swinging, you're just doing monkey swings and like you're not even fusing because you don't have access to like the fusion card. So
you're
it's like
losing to Magnets, you're losing to
exactly,
Noble
yeah.
Knights, you're losing to Despots.
Like I don't know. For
Oh
me,
god.
I think this deck is pretty whatever, but like I know it's good, but it doesn't like that's basically what this whole meta is though.
Yeah.
Like everything it seems good, but it's really like lackluster in my opinion. But that's just how the game is right now. It's just like it's weird. This is a weird time to be playing.
That's what happens when you keep nerfing everything and never
Yeah.
releasing any good stuff. I think it's interesting with this deck because a lot of times whenever you see a deck set 3 back row, you're like, oh fuck, like now I gotta play through 3 back row. But when this deck sets 3 back row, I'm like, yeah, it could be super team, it could be necro. I'm not really too scared to swing in there, if I'm being
Yeah.
totally honest.
Or even just like go for a play. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Melodious is a bad deck with some unfair tools that's just the meta can't counter. And
Yeah.
I think that's like the best way to describe it. It's not really a great deck, but the tools it has are so unfair that it doesn't even care. It's just whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like in comparison to like I mean, it does have a pretty good hero matchup, of course. But the other decks just bully it really hard.
Yeah,
Like
like despots.
or Noble Knights or Magnets.
Yeah, jeez. Fourth place, Magnets. I actually thought it was crazy that Magnets won GG Tour, but then I checked and like 5 of them topped, which is top 64, so it's not like a
Yeah.
crazy amount. But this deck is it just the stall potential of hand traps? Are decks too slow that this deck can kind of take over? Like, what is
Well,
going on here?
the the main thing here is just with the Gorgonic Guardian card, right? What's it called?
Yeah,
Gorgonic?
Gargonic Guardian. Yeah,
Yeah, the Gorgonic Guardian, and with the field spell, you just have an insane amount of ways to just get an extreme amount of card advantage over your opponent. Like your Delta becomes like 2 more cards, because you summon Beta and then Beta gets you a card, and then you can XCs and then you can special them back on the next turn. And you have all these traps to just, and they dodge effects too, like they dodge book, and it's just all of the little guys are really really powerful, and then their boss monster is just one of the best boss monsters right now. It pops, it
yeah.
floats, it's huge.
There's nothing more frustrating than dealing with the little magnets. Then Berserkion shows up, and then you're forced to pop him or get rid of him because you're gonna die otherwise. And then they all come back, and you're like, all right, dude, I don't want to
Yeah,
play
like
this game anymore. Let me
this
out of here.
card, this deck's advantage is ridiculous. Like it's like you're literally seeing this guy. He has lightning vortex because like you're gonna add a million cards. Like you don't care
Yeah,
what you discard.
yeah. And of course,
Yeah,
Destiny Draw. You're one ofs. They become just on demand cards basically if you're able to
yeah,
pop it. So Magnets, they did actually win Ruby League as well. 2 first places here. We'll have to see if that continues. I think in general, Destiny Draw in its current state with hand traps, there's always going to be at least one D draw deck in the metagame.
Yeah, yeah,
So
for sure.
we'll kind of see that there. 5th place, Thunder Dragon, actually still making 5th place. Now, this could be because a lot of people played it, probably to try the Banlist variant. But even if that's the case, still lots of first places, 4th places, 8th places. Thunder Dragon, they are they still here? Are they bricky? Do you think they'll fall down?
Well, they have access to um the Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon, which is just an insane card in this deck. And it almost, I mean, it was already in the deck, right? But now
Mm-hmm.
you can trim down the deck a little bit, and then you're only allowed access to one Levineer, of course. But there's people playing the Charge the Light Brigade version. I've seen people go back to Aloof Lupine. They have access to a lot of interesting tools, especially with, and just Levineer is just an unfair card. Like that card is
Yes, it
just really,
is.
really strong. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're able to resolve a Levianeer, it's crazy because it's like because your opponent doesn't know what you're gonna pop, you kind of have to. If you have 3 back row, you're like, okay, well I have to use everything because I might lose it if I don't. So I
Yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean, and technically you still have 2 copies. You have your uh your melody, and you have the actual card itself. So
Yeah,
you have, and then obviously the deck went down in size, so you're gonna have a bigger chance to draw into those cards.
I think we'll still see plenty of Thunder Dragon in ranked and in KC
Oh,
Cup. I think
yeah,
they're
and
still gonna
also
be
you have
around.
access to I forgot M7 will also get it back
Yeah,
too. So you still,
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of insane.
There you go. And then very quickly before we go into the other statistics, I wanted to go back to the overall standings here because we got to talk about Harpies who missed top 5 by 2 points. I do believe they did win a tournament, but Harpies, they ever since that tournament have been struggling a lot. End of the road for Harpies? Are they just going to be a 30 card deck that's super inconsistent like the rest of them, or oh lord, what's going to happen with Harpies?
Well, I think, it's just first week. People are still figuring out how they want to play the deck. You don't necessarily need to be playing 30 cards.
Hmm.
I don't know. People automatically just go like, I need to play 30 cards in my deck. You can play 24 cards. You can even play 20 cards. Just people have to work on it and try their ratios out more. Um, Especially, I don't know, for this deck, it's always weird because I always see people like just fill it to the brim with everything, like, and the kitchen sink, and it's just like you don't need to do all that. Like you can play your Raigeki breaks or your karma cuts and your hysteric signs. Like try to make it as consistent as possible. Like adding more traps is not making more consistent. You need to, because what's gonna happen is your normal summon gets stopped, and you need a way to just live a turn, right? So that's why they're like, oh, let me play more traps or whatever, right? But if your entire deck is all traps, you're gonna be drawing traps as your top decks, So you
Yeah.
want to make sure you need a good balance. You need a really good balance. Part.
I think a lot of people get addicted to the like because if you're like 30 card you god hand it does really feel good, right? Because your Neos
Yeah,
fusion is sending Harpy's Harpist, your hysteric signs. I agree with you though. I don't think Harpy's gonna leave the metagame. I think it's still gonna stick around. Not as the best deck, no shot.
yeah,
But I do think we're gonna see probably closer to 22, 23, 24 card range over the 30 range. Definitely, we don't need things like Neos Fusion in the deck. We don't need that.
yeah,
So it'll be exciting to see if they are able to really transform anything. A bunch of other rogue decks for the most part, but that really seems to be like the decks that are kind of being played. There are people, of course, try Blue Eyes and stuff like that, but as long as Melodious stays at like that high participation rate, you're not going to see Blue Eyes do much. Gaia was another one that actually did very well. I think they might have won a tournament or two, but I think as long as D Hero's around, that's just another deck for them to farm. But yeah, overall weakened meta game again. Hopefully we get a box to change it. I don't know. What are your overall thoughts on just the meta game?
I think it's time for I want Konami to just introduce like 3 unfair, completely broken decks. Just toss them in all at once, all 3 at once, and then see what happens. Because right now I think every deck is just too fair. I don't know if people are gonna be like, why would you want that? Why would you want the game to be unbalanced? Let me tell you something, guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's a fair game. You play Yu-Gi-Oh! So that your opponent can't play and you're having, that's how you have
Yeah,
fun.
that's how
Maybe
you
that's
have
not
fun.
you. That's literally what Yu-Gi-Oh is. Because you could be playing other card games, but there's a specific reason why you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Because
There you go.
you want to make the Exodia God board turn 1, and then their opponent cannot play at all, and they're like, "Damn, this team sucks." But I don't know. That's just the way Yu-Gi-Oh is, though.
I agree with you though, because like here's my problem with the metagame, right? I don't like it how something gets nerfed, like Harpies, and then the decks that are new that come forward are just the older meta decks or the ones that we've been playing already, because then the follow-up boxes don't give us anything.
Yeah.
So we don't ultimately change the meta. We just kind of change where everything is like in a tier list. So I would prefer, you know, that just the next three releases or so are just insane. All these decks just die. You remember when Dark Lord came out and the tier list went from
Exactly.
like 50 decks to like 3? You know, I
Like,
kind of want that shift because once we get there, every box following will be insane, I think.
what was the last good deck we got? Melodious, I think, right? And then, like,
Yeah.
other than that, what when was the last time
Harpies.
we had a good
I
deck?
mean,
Yeah,
everything's been kind of, tier 3
exactly.
ish, tier 3
Yeah, it's
range.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like we had what Chronomalies,
Yeah.
Evil Heroes, like
Gimmick
all of those
puppets,
DDDs, all those decks gone.
DDD. Rest in peace to all those. I think someone said there was like 8 boxes released in between Harpies and like now when they finally left the metagame. So that's, dude, the
Yeah,
Book of Moon box is so bad. There's literally nothing in there.
yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. So there you go, boys. Opening week, new ban list. We'll see where things start to fall into place. Remember, it's going to take a few weeks for people to figure things out. But I think you can kind of take the top 5, and they'll be in there somewhere. Maybe Harpies will kind of scooch on in over one of them. But D Hero, Melodious, all these decks, I think we're going to see those in there. As always, join the Discord. That's where we host all the tournaments. PDS. Anything else?
Uh, watch my Dark Magician video. Let's
That
go.
Dark Magician video is awesome. Go check it out. Peace out, boys. Till next time. Till next week. See ya.
Peace out.